Imagine moving into a quiet suburban neighborhood where everyone waves and the lawns are pristine. Your new neighbor hands you a thoughtful gift, a gesture of welcome. Then you discover it holds a secret so chilling it turns your dream home into a nightmare. Welcome to Shocking Stories, where we uncover the dark truths hiding behind friendly smiles. Today, we're diving into a tale about a woman whose neighbor's gift led her to a decades-old mystery and a danger she never saw coming. Ever think a neighbor could be hiding something sinister? Buckle up, because this story will make you rethink who lives next door. Let's dive in. Rachel Bennett was a 34-year-old schoolteacher who just moved to a cozy ranch-style house in a suburb of Austin, Texas, about 15 miles from the city's vibrant downtown. After a messy divorce, Rachel craved a fresh start, and the quiet streets of Cedar Grove seemed perfect. Kids on bikes, block parties, and friendly faces. Her neighbor, Tom Larson, a 50-year-old widower who lived 50 feet across the street, was the first to welcome her. Tom, a retired mechanic with a warm smile and a neatly trimmed beard, brought over a vintage locket as a housewarming gift, saying it was something special from his family. Rachel was touched, slipping the locket into her pocket with a promise to wear it soon. But that night, everything changed. While unpacking, Rachel examined the locket, a delicate silver piece with intricate engravings. As she fiddled with it, a hidden compartment popped open, revealing a tiny, faded photo of a young woman, her face serious, and a scrap of paper with the name Laura, 1995. Rachel's heart skipped a beat. The photo felt eerie, like a relic from a forgotten story. She searched online for Laura missing 1995 Austin, finding a news article about Laura Larson, a 20-year-old who vanished from Cedar Grove 30 years ago. The article mentioned her brother, Tom Larson, who'd been questioned but never charged. Rachel's blood ran cold. Was this Tom's sister? And why was her photo hidden in the locket? What would you do if a neighbor's gift held a clue to a missing person? Rachel couldn't shake the unease. She considered returning the locket, but curiosity got the better of her. She called her friend, Emily, a true crime enthusiast who lived 10 miles away in Round Rock. Emily's eyes widened when Rachel texted her the photo. "That's creepy as hell," Emily said. "You need to find out if Tom's hiding something." Rachel hesitated. Tom seemed so kind, always waving from his porch, but the locket gnawed at her. She searched public records, confirming Tom was Laura's brother, now living in their childhood home. The police report from 1995 was vague, noting Laura's disappearance after a party with no suspects. Rachel decided to dig deeper, starting with the locket's origins. She visited a local antique shop 5 miles away, showing the locket to the owner, Clara, who recognized its craftsmanship as a custom piece from the 90s. Clara suggested checking old jewelry records at the Austin Library, 12 miles from Cedar Grove. There, Rachel found a 1994 receipt for a locket matching hers, purchased by a T. Larson. Her stomach churned. Tom had bought it, likely for Laura. That evening, as she parked in her driveway, she noticed Tom watching from his window, his expression unreadable. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Some things are better left alone. Rachel's hands shook. Was Tom onto her? Ever feel like you've stumbled onto a secret you weren't meant to find? Let's see where Rachel's search leads. You ever feel like you're holding a piece of a puzzle that could unravel someone's life or your own? That's where Rachel was, clutching a locket with a hidden photo, wondering if her friendly neighbor was tied to a decades-old disappearance. A simple gift had turned her new home into a web of suspicion, and someone didn't want her digging. Welcome back to Shocking Stories, where we're peeling back the layers of a neighborhood mystery that's only getting darker. Ready to dive deeper? Because this story's about to take a chilling turn. What would you do if you suspected your neighbor was hiding a crime? Rachel's first step was to learn more about Laura Larson's disappearance. She scoured old news archives, finding articles that painted Laura as a bright college student who vanished after a party at a house 2 miles from Cedar Grove. Witnesses saw her arguing with a man, but no one identified him. Tom, then 20, told police Laura had been acting strange before she disappeared, but his alibi, working late at a garage 10 miles away, checked out. Rachel's unease grew. The locket's hidden compartment suggested Tom knew more than he'd let on. She contacted Emily, who suggested hiring a private investigator. Rachel reached out to Mark, a PI based 20 miles away in Pflugerville, who specialized in cold cases. Mark pulled the 1995 police file, noting inconsistencies. Tom's alibi was backed by a coworker who later recanted, and a neighbor reported seeing Tom's truck near the party that night. Mark also found a connection to a man named Carl Evans, a local drifter questioned in Laura's case, but released. Rachel's heart raced. Could Carl be the man Laura argued with? She decided to talk to Tom, casually mentioning the locket during a chat in his driveway, 50 feet from her house. "It's beautiful," she said, watching his reaction. Tom's smile tightened. "Glad you like it," he said, his voice flat. That night, Rachel heard footsteps outside her house, circling her porch. She peeked through the blinds, seeing nothing, but her car's side mirror was smeared with red paint. Or was it blood? Rachel's fear spiked, but she couldn't stop. Mark traced Carl Evans to a trailer park 30 miles outside Austin, now in his 50s and living off the grid. Rachel and Mark drove there, parking 100 feet from Carl's trailer. He was cagey, denying involvement in Laura's disappearance, but admitting he knew Tom. "He was obsessed with his sister," Carl said, his eyes darting. "Blamed me when she went missing." Carl hinted at a fight between Laura and Tom the night she vanished, but clammed up when Rachel pressed. As they left, Rachel noticed a gray pickup truck following them for 5 miles before turning off. Her phone buzzed with another text. "You're asking the wrong questions." Rachel's hands shook. Was Tom warning her, or was someone else involved? Back in Cedar Grove, Rachel searched her house for clues, finding a small key taped under her mailbox, likely slipped there by someone. It didn't fit the locket, but matched a lockbox in Tom's garage, which she'd seen while borrowing a ladder. Against Mark's advice, Rachel sneaked into Tom's backyard at dusk, 50 feet from her house, and opened the lockbox. Inside was a letter from Laura, dated the day she disappeared. "Tom, I'm leaving. Don't follow me." Rachel's heart sank. Was Laura alive, or was this a cover-up? As she pocketed the letter, headlights flashed. Tom's truck pulled into the driveway. Ever get that feeling you're caught in a trap you can't escape? Let's see what happens when Rachel faces Tom. Rachel froze as Tom stepped out of his truck, his silhouette looming 50 feet away. She slipped the letter into her pocket and crouched behind a shed, her heart pounding. Tom scanned the yard, his flashlight sweeping inches from her hiding spot. "Rachel?" he called, his voice calm but edged with suspicion. She held her breath until he went inside, then sprinted to her house, locking the door. The letter burned in her hand. Laura's words, "I'm leaving," suggested she'd run away, but why was Tom hiding it? Rachel called Mark, who urged her to take the letter to the police. But first, she needed to understand Tom's connection to Carl Evans. Mark dug deeper, finding a 1996 police report linking Carl to a kidnapping ring in Austin, with Laura as a possible victim. Tom had been questioned after reporting Carl's suspicious behavior, but no evidence tied him to the crime. Rachel's mind raced. Was Tom protecting Laura or covering his tracks? She contacted a retired detective, Ellen, who'd worked Laura's case, meeting her at a coffee shop 8 miles from Cedar Grove. Ellen revealed Tom had been obsessed with finding Laura, even after the case went cold. He blamed himself, Ellen said, but some thought he knew more. Ellen mentioned a rumor. Laura had been pregnant, possibly by Carl, and Tom had confronted him the night she vanished. Rachel's stomach churned. Was the locket a keepsake or a clue to a crime? Rachel decided to confront Tom, bringing Mark for safety. They knocked on his door at dusk, the locket and letter in her bag. Tom invited them in, his face unreadable. "Why'd you give me this?" Rachel asked, holding up the locket. Tom's eyes darkened. "It was Laura's," he admitted. "I thought you looked like her." He explained Laura was his twin, and her disappearance broke him. The letter, he claimed, was her goodbye, but he'd hidden it, hoping she'd return. Then came the twist. Tom believed Rachel was Laura's daughter, based on her resemblance and age. "I gave you the locket to see if you knew," he said. Rachel's world tilted. She was adopted, but her parents never mentioned Laura. Was Tom delusional or telling the truth? Before Rachel could process, Carl Evans burst through the back door, a knife in hand. "You couldn't leave it alone," he snarled. Tom lunged at Carl, shouting for Rachel and Mark to run. They fled to the backyard, 50 feet from the house, as shouts and crashes echoed inside. Mark called 911, and police swarmed the street, arresting Carl after a struggle. Tom was injured but alive, confessing he'd suspected Carl kidnapped Laura, but lacked proof. The locket's photo was Laura's, kept as a memento. DNA tests later confirmed Rachel wasn't Laura's daughter, just a coincidence. Carl was charged with Laura's presumed murder, though her body was never found. Rachel moved 200 miles to Houston, unable to stay in Cedar Grove. The worst part? Tom still watches for Laura, and Rachel wonders if she's out there. So, here's the question. Could you trust a neighbor after a gift like this? This is Shocking Stories, and we're just getting started. Hit that like button if this gave you chills, and subscribe for more heart-pounding tales. Comment below, what would you do if a neighbor's gift held a secret like this? Share this video, because sometimes the friendliest gestures hide the darkest truths.